So I had this idea to make a clock with a pendulum out of cardboard and some 3D printed parts. First, I checked Amazon to see if I could buy a pendulum clock kit, and I found this one. Initially, I thought I'd make a traditional clock, but that felt a little boring. So I brainstormed with my kids to come up with a theme for a clock that would be more fun. My daughter suggested a Minion clock, which sounded super fun, so we went with that. To begin, my daughter traced a Minion shape on a large piece of cardboard and then cut it out with an X-Acto knife. Then she traced that onto another large piece of cardboard and we cut that out. Next, I used Fusion 360 to design cardboard connectors to hold the front and the sides of the clock together. And then we printed them out in both Minion yellow and denim overall blue. Next, my daughter painted and colored both panels. In between painting, coloring, and watching old Minion movies, we designed a few more of the parts we needed in Tinkercad. We printed each color at different layer heights, changing out one color of filament for the next to make it multicolored. Next, we designed and printed out this thin black hour hand. Then it was time to assemble the clock. We opened our kit and pulled out the parts that we needed. Next, we cut out a small hole where the center of the clock would go. Then we assembled the clock parts together. With all the pieces in place, it was time to test it out. Next, we cut out a slot for the pendulum tongue. Then we cut the sides of the clock out from long pieces of cardboard. Next, we scored 1-inch lines along the cardboard to allow it to curve around the shape of the clock. Then we were ready to attach the front of the clock to the sides of the clock using the cardboard connectors. This took a little practice, but we finally got the hang of it. With the sides attached to the front, we moved on to design the pendulum tongue. On a side note, we actually hadn't planned on making the pendulum his tongue. We were going to make it his pocket. But it was heavier, larger, and longer, and it wasn't swinging well, and then we decided the slit looked more like a mouth anyway, so we went with a tongue. We designed both the pendulum rod and tongue in Tinkercad. To stay balanced and to swing properly, we found that the pendulum tongue had to be double-sided. We had to print it with supports, which I'm removing here. Finally, we attached the pendulum to the clock and it worked, which was pretty exciting. Before attaching the back panel of the clock, we cut out a door to access the clock. Then we attached the back panel with more cardboard connectors. Next, we put on another Minion movie and painted the sides of the clock. Then, not wanting our rejected pendulum pocket to go to waste, we decided to make it into a static faux pocket. We hot glued it in place. And then lastly, we decided to print some bolt heads to act as hour markers on the clock face. Once printed, we hot glued them in place. And then we were done. We hope you like it.